Oh no ma'am, we're gonna have to sit this up. Yes, the title of this video is true. It is not clickbaited. I indeed
had COVID-19.
So I wrote down a list of things that I wanted to talk about in my phone, but in this video I basically want to just touch on my symptoms, everything that happened up to the point where I found out, and so on and so forth, and how I'm feeling now, and what you can do to take precautions, because wear your mask. Okay, so about 2-ish weeks before Christmas, I was feeling super dizzy and like almost like out of body experience type feeling. I don't even know how else to explain it other than that. It was really weird, but I also suffer from GAD, generalized anxiety disorder, just in case you didn't know. That's gonna be a whole nother video, so I don't even want to like get too much into that, but I do suffer from that. So I was like, okay, the dizziness can easily come from that, and so can like maybe this. So, you know, I was freaking out about it because like who wouldn't, but I didn't really think too much on it because just in case you were wondering, that is why I have not been on YouTube. Okay, so that's also why I was absent from YouTube, because I didn't feel like myself, and it wasn't appropriate for me to upload a video. In my personal opinion, it wasn't appropriate for me to upload a video when I didn't feel like myself. You guys come to watch me, not some rando on the internet. Like, no, you know, you want that like uppity spirit, you know? The night of Christmas Eve, I remember not feeling like myself completely. I remember that I had the really bad out of body experience, and everybody that I talked to, they were like, Kayla, you were probably just like withdrawing from caffeine, because I did try to cut caffeine out. So they were like, you're probably just withdrawing from caffeine, like you need to drink it, you just can't cut cold turkey, da 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 da. So I would slowly stop doing that, and it still made me feel like crap. My brain wise, like my brain was like, I don't even know how else to explain it, like I just didn't feel like myself, and it was bothering me so bad. We even, like the day after Christmas, we ended up like going out shopping, and I am the queen of shopping. Like I love to shop, and all I wanted to do was go home. I was like, no, I'd rather be at home. My mom was like, are you sure you don't want to go to Marshall's? I was like, I'm positive. You know, there's a little bit of foreshadowing for you. So Christmas Day, I woke up, I felt completely fine other than the head thing. So the head thing would start at like a certain time, which I am so, I overthink everything to the point where I believe genuinely in my head that like the dizziness would start at like 12 or something. Like I'm so stupid. So
we got up at like 7 because my brother
wanted to get up at 7. So we got up at 7, opened all the Christmas gifts, whatever, if you will. Dead ass, like passed out on the couch. Passed out on the couch, did not wake up until like 2. Literally couldn't even put on this Christmas dress that I had bought from Shein because I fell asleep. Didn't even have time to get up and get ready because my cousins were already here by the time that had happened. I wasn't running a fever or even nauseous. Like there was literally no signs, like at all. They check our fevers before we go into work. I work in like a fast food type restaurant. The night of New Year's Eve, I want to say I posted on Instagram. I really do want to say that I posted on Instagram. And then basically I stayed up till 4 a.m. because I was on the phone on FaceTime with one of my friends. And when I get heavily on FaceTime with someone, I don't want to get off FaceTime. So I like was on FaceTime with her and didn't go to sleep until like 4 in the morning. So me having to do that and then turn around and wake up at 10 a.m. to go to an 11 to 5 shift obviously wasn't the best decision. Friday, January 1st, 2021. I come home from work. I'm exhausted. I feel horrible. Like I've never felt that horrible in my entire life. Like, I mean, obviously I probably have like flu or something. I don't even know. But I literally remember texting my mom and being like, I could cry because I'm so like exhausted. Like I just want to go home and go to sleep. Like I felt like I didn't want to eat. Like I wanted to go home and go to sleep. So I went home, you know, went to sleep, whatever. I remember waking up and being like super dizzy again. And the dizziness was always a problem for me. Like the dizziness thing was like, it was not going away. It irked my, like it was so bad that I would literally go to like bed and like, not to get all emotional, but like I would literally go to bed and cry like every night because I knew when I woke up that my headspace wouldn't be how it was like a month ago. It's scary, you know, because you don't know, like you don't know what's going on, especially like your head of everything. I literally was like, it could be my freaking right hand for all I care, but like it's my hand, it's my head. Like my head was killing, like it wasn't even hurting. That's the problem. Like if you looked up like what was going on, like nothing added up to what was going on. So I have this really bad like anxiety trigger, I think, that I've like discovered this past year, is that I physically cannot have like a health problem and not know what it is or how to explain it before I tell someone. And I know that sounds so weird, but like I'll explain more about that in my anxiety video, but it's crazy. Like it's absolutely crazy. Like I just didn't know what was going on with my head, but I remember waking up this night and my head, like it wasn't hurting. Like remind you, it wasn't like a headache. I woke up and I want to say it was like 3 in the morning, something like that, because I had slept all afternoon, right? So I get up, I'm walking around the house, whatever, you know, going to eat my salad because I didn't eat it when I got home. And I'm sitting there and it's like if I would move too fast, I would get really lightheaded. And I mean, that's normal for somebody that like hasn't eaten or doing this, whatever. But I would get this feeling in my head and I could almost like, it was overbearing so bad that it was like I could hear white noise. I don't know how else to explain that. Like if you guys were ever a kid, if you were ever a kid, obviously everyone was a kid, you idiot. Anyways, so if you were ever one of those children that sat there and purposely tried to listen to the white noise, like, and you hear that like noise, and like that's what it sounded like times 10. Like I would move my head and it would be like in my head. I don't know how else to explain it other than that. And that bothered me so bad. I literally walked into my sister's room. And I mean, I'm emotional. My whole family knows this, but I don't get so emotional that I'm gonna go sit in my sister's room and cry about it. And I just remember sitting in her room and I was like, dude, I literally don't know how else to explain what I'm feeling. And I can't, like, and it's not that nobody believed what I was feeling, but like they can't give you an answer if they don't know what's going on. So like, it's not comforting to know that your mom doesn't really understand what's going on, you know, even especially because my mom has anxiety. She's like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, it's not a good feeling. So I don't work weekends, so Saturday, Sunday flew by. I honestly felt the same. It's just the head problem. I ended up calling out of work that following Monday because I work 11 to 9 on Mondays, and I didn't want to potentially get anyone, even though I wasn't sick. Like I didn't feel nauseous, I didn't have any symptoms, I wasn't running a fever. Even with all that being said, I didn't want to risk anyone's safety just in case I was carrying something. So me being the person that I am, I didn't go to my job. So I got out. So that same week, I went Wednesday because I had this gut feeling. I was like, I need to go get COVID tested. Like I just need to go get COVID tested. So because I don't drive, shout out to Olivia.
Got my driver's license last week.
My dad actually drove us to the DMV. Oh my god, that's stuck in my head now. He drove us to the COVID testing and we had to wait like 3 days. We didn't pay for the rapid test, which is like the day of that you're getting your results, because my mom's nurse friend told her that most of the time the rapid tests come back as a false positive. So if it comes back positive, you'd rather know it's because you're actually positive and not like being quarantined because you're actually negative. So we didn't pay for the rapid one. We paid, well, do you pay for the other one? I don't even know. Anyway, so we did the other one that takes like 2 to 3 days. Obviously, due to that exact reason, we stayed home. We didn't go to work. I mean, obviously the only places we would have went is like work, school, or church. And right now our church is not in session because of COVID. And we weren't at work because our manager told us if we didn't get tested, then we couldn't come back. So we got tested. And I say we, me and my sister. And I don't go out with people, so like the only thing I can think of is like maybe my dad or someone, I don't even know, brought it home. Or maybe somebody else around at work wasn't wearing their mask properly and they gave it to me. I don't know. Oh my god, my ring is stuck in my hair. Lord Jesus, that hurt. On Saturdays, we usually go to the grocery store and go shopping or whatever, you know, for groceries, if you will. So we didn't go because we weren't feeling like we should. Like, duh, like we don't know what we are yet. So Sunday rolls around, Sunday morning rolls around, and we tested positive. So now begins the quarantine process. I was gonna film the quarantine process, but it was boring. Like, I'm not kidding with you. The worst part about being quarantined for me was the fact that I was being quarantined for a virus or a sickness or whatever that I physically didn't feel. Like, I was sitting in it felt like another day. It felt like I just gave myself 2 weeks off and I wasn't getting paid to just sit around in my bed. That's literally what it felt like, because I was like in my room. It's not like I was downstairs in the living room. And during all this, I didn't experience any symptoms other than the dizziness and the out-of-body feeling. And I said, one of the worst things that you can do is Google or YouTube this stuff. Don't be an idiot like me, because basically I Googled the out-of-body feeling so much that it literally, I was basically kind of, I don't believe in self-diagnosing. Don't do that. Do not do that. But I was basically like, okay, well, this is the only thing it could be. is depersonalization disorder. You can't give yourself a disorder because you feel like it's one. Like, no, it's not how that works. That's the only thing I could have thought it would be. So I was like, okay, well, maybe that's what it is. But it gave me like comfort to know that at least I knew something of what it may be, just so if the doctor's like, okay, well, like, why do you feel like this? Then I could be like, oh, well, I saw this. And then he could be like, no, yes, whatever. Only other symptom that I really had was like the lack of breath. My mom ended up telling me, she was like, Kayla, you literally suffer from anxiety. Like, that's the biggest freaking symptom, or not even symptom, like side effect or whatever of anxiety, or trigger, if you will. That's the biggest thing of anxiety, is not being able to get a deep breath. So in the breath that I'm talking about, it like, I literally like under, like right here, could not, like, it felt super weird and I couldn't get a deep breath, and I was hella winded like all the time. And so I was like, oh, you're right. So then after I stopped and thought about it, I think I mentally thought to myself, you have anxiety, so you're fine. And then it stopped bothering me. So I really think it was just anxiety and I was in my head about it. But anyways, my mom ended up ordering an oxygen level reader thing for your finger. It's basically like this, it's basically the thing that they put on your finger at the hospital, or like, I think maybe at the doctor's, but it's that thing that they clamp and it like reads your oxygen level. Basically, if you're at 90 or 100, your oxygen level is perfect. If it goes below 90, you need to go to the hospital because your oxygen level's terrible. And my oxygen level never went below a 95. So I was completely fine as far as that stuff went. So my mom wasn't really that concerned. She was like, Kayla, if you were complaining about not being able to breathe and your oxygen levels were low, we'd be concerned, but you don't need to be concerned. And like I said, I just knew I wasn't dying, because obviously if the anxiety, if I like mentally told myself it's just your anxiety, then I calmed myself down, and then I was like, oh, okay, so you can breathe, like you're not dying.
Cool.
Obviously the week that I was supposed to be like on my last week of quarantine was the first week of school. So I missed the first week of school. Great. But after the 10 to 14 days that we quarantined, I was able to go back to school and go back to work. We did get tested again, and it does, from what I understand, is it comes back a false positive. Side effects, I guess, or withdrawals. I don't know what you want to call it. But from what I heard from doctors is that it takes 90 days for the virus to get out of your system, which I guess technically means that you can't be exposed to the virus anymore because you've already been exposed to it. So you can't get it again within that time frame or something, I think. Don't quote me on it. I'm not a medical expert. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a nurse, none of it. I was gonna say a surgeon, but like, duh. So I'm obviously doing much better now. I am 100% gonna come back to YouTube. I was planning on having so many videos come out, you don't even understand. I have a whole Book Talk Tuesday that's sitting on my hard drive waiting for me to edit, and I just couldn't get myself to do it because my mindset wasn't there. Like, it just wasn't in the right spot for me to do that. When the hell did I get out of quarantine? I'll say I've been out of quarantine for like a week and a half, if you will. But I'm doing much better. My mom stayed on me about drinking orange juice for the vitamins and eating bananas as well, you know. She made sure that I ate, because it's important to keep your immune system up because of these viruses and illnesses and flu season and whatever. And also to drink tons of water, because stay hydrated, kids. Like, so she made me drink tons of water to stay hydrated, and she also made me take Mucinex and like stuff like that for like sinuses and like congestion indigestion problems, because she thought that's what was wrong with my breathing, which is funny because, and then I realized the 4th day after that it was fine, so I stopped taking it. That's pretty much my experience with COVID-19. Like I said, I was asymptomatic, so thank God, thank the Lord. He is such a blessing to our world, our lives. Lord Jesus, he did not have to grant me one of the lucky ones to get minor side effects or things from this virus. He could have easily been like, you know what, screw you, hospital, ventilator, you know what I mean? And I'm constantly praying for those that are on ventilators. This is such a hard time, and this is like a really shitty situation. It sucks. It sucks. Let me remind you guys that even if you suffer from mild side effects or whatever, there are people in people's families that are suffering from this tragedy 10 times worse than probably you are. And just because you're middle-aged or 20 or 19 or freaking out on a care 16 does not mean that you can't be a carrier. Please be considerate of other people's families and your own family, for crying out loud. You could be bringing it home to anybody that has a health condition problem. Just be respectful. Wear your freaking mask. masks. That's all we're asking you to do. Wear your masks. Be careful out in public. It's, if not even for your own safety, for the people around you, for the families and the people that you go home to. And if you're like, oh, well, I live at home by myself. Okay, well, I'm sure you still come encounter with people. You could be easily being a carrier and give it to someone in an elevator when you're leaving your apartment. So be considerate of other people. Please wear your mask. It is super, 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 super important. This is not a joke. It's not something to take lightly. Take this with as much seriousness as your body will allow into the little bodies that you have. So on that note, I love you guys so much. If you guys aren't already following my TikTok and my Instagram, please make sure to do that because I am going to post a lot. I also have a Goodreads account. If you want to follow that, go ahead and do that. I always post when I'm reading something or if I finished something. I've actually just finished Red, White, and Royal Blue. So I'm working on Moxie right now. So for all my Book Talk Tuesday lovers, I'll be back for you soon. Yeah, I love you guys so much. Remember to be kind, wear your freaking face masks. And yeah, I love you guys so much. Bye.